grammar again today and formal and informal writing. Have a look on the boards. There is a question here straight from a SATs paper from 2018. Which sentence is the most formal? Watching too much television should be avoided. You shouldn't watch too much TV. Watching lots of TV isn't a good idea. You really should try not to watch loads of telly. Now, you might just have cracked that straight away. You might have zoned in as to which one of these is correct, but actually they can seem really, really similar. And actually, using understanding formal and informal writing is more useful than you might imagine. I'll be honest with you. I was going to make a video on something completely different today. I was going to do active and passive voice, and I was scanning through SATs papers, and I was surprised how much I was seeing which is most formal, circle of formal and informal, change this from formal to informal. I was seeing the questions come up time and time again. There are so many marks available if we crack this. And it's super simple as well. There are basically three categories. There are three things which change a sentence from formal to informal. They're really easy to remember as well. Trust me on that. I'll go through some questions now and some guidance, and you should be able to get these right every single time. So aside from coming up in EGPS papers in SAT, it's actually a year 6 writing objective as well. You can see down here from the national curriculum, children should recognise vocabulary and structures. They're appropriate for formal speech and writing, including subjunctive forms. Let's not get caught up in that. When it comes to formal, though, the way that I typically just remind myself is think about a formal dinner or a formal event, put on a top hat, put on some smart dress, and think about the words you would use or the language you would use if you were going to a formal event. It can actually help you more than you might think. It's not just a silly idea. So here are the three things. Here are the three categories. So no contractions. Can't use contractions when you're writing formally. So you write was not rather than wasn't. You do not want to see these apostrophes for contractions. Should not rather than shouldn't. So there's your clue as well. The second part is no colloquialisms, long word, basically means slang terms. You don't want to see words like telly, get together, mate, all of those things, anything that you would use in like a diary entry or in a text message or things like that. Obviously, it's not going to go in formal writing. That would be informal. And no exclamation marks. And I put an exclamation mark there just because it would be hilarious. No exclamation marks. It's not formal writing. I'm a nightmare for it in text messages and emails. I'm always putting exclamation marks, and I should write more formally, but never mind. Here is our man, Prince Harry, and he's how I'm going to get into the zone of writing formally or identifying what is formal. Imagine Prince Harry. I think he's at Ascot or horse racing there. He's got a top hat on. You've got to think about what words would he use in formal writing. So here's question 29. Circle the most formal option in each box below to complete the invitation. We would like to invite you to a catch-up, celebration, get-together. Most formal that is celebration. Catch up and get together. Yeah, we're going to use those words, but they're more informal. We'd say that to a friend or someone we're just chatting to. Prince Harry is not going to invite you for a catch up. To mark this fab, really cool, momentous occasion. Again, what would Prince Harry say? He probably wouldn't say fab on the invitation itself or really cool. He would say momentous. That's what I mean, the other two, by colloquialism or slang. Things that we use all the time, but you just wouldn't write in a formal piece of writing. It will kick off, it will start up, or it will commence. It will commence at 5 p.m. So again, basically the poshest option is usually the most formal. Check through one more time and read it through all together. We'd like to invite you to a celebration, tick. To mark this momentous occasion, tick. It will commence at 5 p.m. Seems relatively straightforward. And if you look for those three things in all the questions, it is relatively straightforward. There's just so many marks. I couldn't believe how many marks you can get for getting this right. So we'll test our knowledge. Question 32. The questions I've shown you so far, they've all come from the same test paper. That just shows you how many marks are there. I think we're up to 3 marks already for half of one EGPS paper. So you can see how prevalent they are. Which sentence is the most formal? She suggested that her mother be present. Okay, it's looking good so far. We've got no slang terms. We've got no contractions, apostrophes for contractions, and we haven't got any exclamation marks. It's looking good so far. She really hopes to be ready on time. I'm seeing this really. unnecessary word in there, hopes to be ready on time. She really hopes to be ready on time. It's almost slangy there. Don't forget to lock the door, exclamation mark. So that's out. If Johnny's late, we'll start without him. Now this one, just because there's an apostrophe doesn't mean that it's informal. If Johnny's late, it's not great though, because if we're going to write that formally, we'd write Johnny is late. What I mean about the apostrophe is, if you could say, you could say it was Johnny's coat. Now, a possessive apostrophe like that one would be fine. Johnny's coat would be fine. There's no more formal way to say it. But this is an apostrophe for contraction. It is short for Johnny is late. So that's not what we want to see. They put another one in there as well, just to really drive the point home. We'll start without him. Should be we will start without him. So we've crossed off those three. It means our initial one that we liked was the most formal as well. She suggested that her mother be present. A couple more examples to drive the point home. Again, the question is most likely going to come at you like this. Question 9. This is from 2023 SAT, so the most recent one. We can't keep your things here as there's no room. You should be able to spot that there is, should be cannot, and there is no room, so cross, cross. It is essential that you take all your belongings with you. There you go. It's sounding posh, seeming like a good option, the second one, but we'll check the other two as well. Please pack up all your stuff, slang term, that's out. Time to get all your bits and pieces together, slang term, slang term. So again, the one that would sound correct if we were wearing a top hat, it's the poshest sentence essentially. It is essential that you take all your belongings with you. Final example, and I think we've got it by now. I've just put this reminder at the top: contractions, exclamations, or slang. I asked him to phone me when he got here. Phone me, it's not too bad. I told him to call me as soon as he turned up. Turned up is slang. I got him to ring me. I got him to ring me. No, I asked him to phone me when he got here. I requested, you're noticing that more posh language? I requested that he telephone me on arrival. It sounds like you would read it in a posh voice. You're absolutely right. I requested that he telephone me on arrival. This is more about the vocabulary now. I asked him to phone me. We'd use that phrase all the time. Yeah, phone me when you get there. But it's informal, really. Phone me. I told him to call me as soon as he turned up. That's the slangy bit there. I got him to ring me again, slangy, when he came in. And at the end, it just sounds different, doesn't it? Just sounds more posh. I requested that he telephone me on arrival. So 1 mark, well done us. Excuse me, I'll go back up to our original question now, and we should be able to get this no problem. So watching too much television should be avoided. Looks good. You shouldn't watch too much TV. Contraction. Watching lots of TV isn't a good idea. And you really should try to not watch loads of telly, slang term as well. So we're getting it there. Contractions, exclamation marks, and any slang terms are out. And we should, like Prince Harry, I'm sure he maxed out his EGPS paper. We can max out our marks on the EGPS paper as well. Imagine sticking your top hat on. What would Prince Harry say? What were the words he wouldn't say? And you're going to get there pretty quickly. That's formal and informal. Use this in your writing as well. So especially when you're doing something like a diary entry, it's absolutely fine to use informal writing because you're essentially writing only to yourself. But if you're writing a non-chronological report or a newspaper report, you're going to use these formal writing. You're not going to use contractions. You're going to use the smartest vocabulary you can, and you're not going to use things like exclamation marks. So it is useful in normal writing. It's not just about scoring marks in tests, but it all goes together. It's just another piece of the puzzle. It's another piece for our toolkit. I'll be back soon, probably with active and passive voice, which is what I was going to make today. But hopefully that's something else in your locker for when you come up against an EGPS paper, or when you've got to show your teacher that you can write formal English properly. Have a good day. Ciao for now.